Addressing lead levels in school drinking water has been a lengthy process across Montana. In Helena Public Schools, leaders say they completed their first round of remediation work about a year ago, and they're confident that it's made a big difference.
I had to start with the schools out in the valley because we had the most issues there. But once we moved into town, it was about picking the smaller schools and kind of learning the process rather than tackling the biggest schools. By the time we reached the middle school and high school level, we really knew what we were doing.
At C.R. Anderson Middle School, one area they focused on was the home economics classroom, where they knew there was a high chance students would be directly exposed to the water.
Cooking food, preparing food with the water,
The district installed water filters on each faucet in the room. In a classroom lab, they instead put in signs, warning the water should be used only for laboratory use.
It took us some time to find the right label, and we ran it by the DEQ for approval and got them printed up.
The state updated rules on lead in school drinking water in 2020, attempting to reduce the long-term health impacts of early lead exposure in children. Montana DEQ says about 3/4 of school facilities statewide have finished sampling their water sources for lead. Of the tested fixtures, about 18% had somewhat elevated lead levels. They could still be used, but needed repairs, upgrades, or regular flushing. Another 8%, with the highest lead concentrations, had to be removed from service immediately. During this year's legislative session, lawmakers added $3.7 million to a major spending bill to provide grants to reimburse schools for their lead remediation efforts. DEQ is still finalizing the details of the grant program, but they hope it will remove some of the barriers to getting this needed work done.
Just emphasizing the schools that we have that funding. I know there might have been hesitation in the past because lead remediation can be expensive and schools have strapped budgets, but with this new funding, it should alleviate a lot of that.
The Biden administration also announced this week that Montana will receive $565,000 to address lead in schools. DEQ said they plan to direct that money towards sampling and use the additional state money for remediation. In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.